people, and welcome back to the Southern Snack, where life is too short to be serious. All right, we are at Captain D's, where they have a new fish sandwich. Well, what kind of new fish sandwich? A Cajun fish sandwich. All right, so it's their, their breaded fried chicken sandwich. I don't know if it's, oh my goodness, it's just called a chicken sandwich. Their breaded fish sandwich with Cajun seasoning. Don't know if it's hand breaded, but it looks good, pretty big. Are they becoming the Chick-fil-A of fish sandwiches? I don't know. But there's a good look. Doesn't look too Cajun-y, from just looking at it. But if I lift the bun up, I do see some Cajun seasoning. So let's go ahead and try it. I hope you subscribe, like, and comment on this video. And let's get to eating. Definitely piping hot in terms of temperature. As for heat level, it's pretty solid. I wouldn't call it the spiciest thing in the world, but you can definitely get those Cajun notes from that seasoning and a little bit of kick. The fish is nice and flaky, as expected. And it's a pretty enjoyable sandwich. The flavor's not overwhelming. It is a bit salty, but it is nice and tender, and it goes down real smooth. The sandwich, of course, piping hot. I'd give it a 7.5. I think, well, yeah, I'd say 7.5. I think the flavor works well, and it's good, but it's not amazing. It's not great. It's just a solid item with a nice twist, and a bit too salty. But I think when you eat a little bit more and you get some more mayo in there, that kind of balances it out a little bit. But you definitely get those kind of Cajun Creole kind of flavors, but not too heavy of a kick. What I find interesting about this location, and again 7.5 before y'all tune out, is that it took the place of an Arby's, which you would never expect that Arby's would be, so unsuccessful they would close down. But this area, I've seen a Burger King close, they've seen a Wendy's get closed and torn down, and the Arby's that was right there got closed and replaced by Captain D's. Now, I don't know if they have an Arby's down the road now. They do have a Wendy's and they do have a Burger King, both in pretty nice buildings. But the other interesting thing I found about this daggone Captain D's is we are in Elizabeth City, and if you know anything about Elizabeth City, they're right off the river here, and there are plenty of local seafood establishments, especially ones that fry seafood. So I thought it was interesting that Captain D's, of all places, decided they would try and put themselves into the market that has a lot of fresh seafood options, or local seafood options at the very least. Very surprised, very shocked, but here we are at Captain D's, somehow, some way. Do I expect Captain D's to have a longevity that keeps them alive? No. I expect that at some point this building will be torn down too. That's just what happens in life. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all love Captain D's? I haven't had a problem with it. I just have this kind of preconceived notion that fast food fish, Captain D's, Long John Silver's, it's just not as good as local. Now, Scrimp Shack, they've kind of pushed my mind to new bounds, and it's like, okay, Scrimp Shack is very solid. And, they've recently started insourcing food from this city, from Elizabeth City, with quality seafood, kind of giving them seafood, giving them fish products. So it's very interesting seeing all these connections going back down to here to Elizabeth City. But that was a little bit of a story there that I rambled on about, but all of it being true. But to go back to this, you know, I've never had an issue trying Captain D's food. It's never been bad. It's never been, you know, a nightmare for me. I've just never thought it was high quality. But it's always kind of, now that I'm less picky, it's always kind of surprised me that they are pretty solid. And that, you know, if you want to change it up, do some quick fast food fish reviews, you know, Captain D's is not the worst place. Long John Silver's, I think, is not as good as Captain D's, but still solid enough, right? And I still don't think these places are going to survive long term. You know, you look at Scrimp Shack, they've got fresher seafood, and you look at more local places, those are the ones you want to go to. So I don't know how these ones kind of survive in these kind of competitive conditions, but they do. And you know, you've got this Cajun fish sandwich that they're using to try and reel some more people in, rod and reel. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this review. Hopefully it gave you enough input and value that you'll come back. If you don't, well, I'm sorry. Other than that, I will see y'all around. Yay, yay!